The Unlucky Shoes by Muhammad Nasir Ali. Long ago, in the bustling city of Baghdad, lived a wealthy man named Ali Abu Amuri. He owned a splendid house and had an abundance of riches, but his appearance betrayed none of his wealth. Strangers passing through the city would never guess he was affluent by looking at his modest attire. The locals, however, knew better. They often whispered, "Ali Abu is rich because he spends nothing on himself. Just look at those shoes of his, and you'll see how he saves his wealth." Then they would burst into laughter. Even the children of Baghdad mocked Ali Abu's battered pair of Nagrai shoes. And why wouldn't they? Those shoes were the oldest, most patched-up pair anyone in Baghdad had ever seen. Some even joked that Ali Abu had worn the same pair his entire life. But how could one pair of shoes last so long? The answer lay in Abu's relentless efforts. At the first sign of wear, he would scour the city for a cobbler to mend them. The cobblers all knew him well and would sigh, "Sir, these shoes are beyond repair. You should buy a new pair." But Abu never listened. He would move from cobbler to cobbler until someone reluctantly added another patch. Thus, his shoes became legendary, a symbol of his thriftiness. People joked, "May your life be as long as Ali Abu's Nagrai shoes." The downfall of the shoes. One day, as Ali Abu walked through the streets of Baghdad, he passed a shop selling exquisite glass bottles. The shopkeeper called out, "Ali Abu, I have great news. A foreign merchant has brought colorful hand-painted perfume bottles. They're selling for just 50 dinars now, but in a month, I'll buy them back for at least 100 dinars. What a bargain. Ali Abu couldn't resist the lure of profit. He immediately bought the bottles and brought them home. A few days later, a friend told him about a seller offering fine rose water at an unbelievably low price. The friend added, "Fill your colorful bottles with rose water, and you could sell them for 4 times the price." Excited by the prospect of even greater profit, Abu spent 50 more dinars on rose water and carefully filled the bottles. He placed them on a shelf by the window, thinking it was the safest spot in the house. Ali Abu was thrilled with his clever investments, confident he would soon double his wealth. A new pair of shoes. One afternoon, Ali Abu went to the hammam, public house. There, he encountered his friend Omar bin Adi, who took one look at Abu's tattered shoes and shook his head. "Ali Abu," he said, "why don't you buy a new pair of shoes? Your wealth is no secret, yet you continue to wear these rags. It's time to retire them." Abu only smiled in response. After his bath, he returned to where he had left his shoes, only to find a shiny new pair in their place. He assumed his generous friend Omar had left them as a gift. Overjoyed, Abu wore the new shoes home. But little did he know, the shoes belonged to the city's Qazi judge, who had also been at the hammam. When the Qazi discovered his new shoes were gone and found Abu's patched up ones instead, he was furious. "It's that wretched Ali Abu. Only he would leave behind such cursed shoes," the Qazi shouted. The Qazi sent his men to fetch Abu, who was dragged to court. No amount of pleading could convince the Qazi that it was a mistake. Abu was early escaped further punishment. A curse returns. Back home, Abu decided he had had enough. "These shoes are cursed," he muttered and threw them into the river, hoping to rid himself of their bad luck. But fate had other plans. A fisherman found the shoes tangled in his net and, recognizing them, brought them back to Abu's house, tossing them through an open window. The shoes landed directly on the shelf, holding the rose water bottles, shattering them all. When Abu returned home to find his investment in ruins, he wept in despair. "These shoes will be the death of me," he cried. That night, he buried them in the garden, determined to never see them again. The final straw. The next morning, a neighbor caught him digging and assumed he was trying to break into their property. They hauled Abu back to the Qazi, who fined him yet another 1,000 dinars. Desperate and humiliated, Abu returned home. But once again, the shoes found their way back to him. A street cleaner discovered them in a drain and left them at his doorstep. Finally, Abu couldn't take it anymore. He carried the shoes to the Qazi himself and pleaded, "Your Honor, these shoes have ruined my life. I beg you to imprison them so I may live in peace." The Qazi, amused by the tale, decided to return the fines Abu had paid and confiscated the shoes. No one knows what became of the cursed Nagrai shoes, but they were never seen on Ali Abu's feet again.